Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific Time in the United States, 10 AM in Australia and 1 AM in the UK. Always remember though, if you miss the live streams, you can catch up with the premiere event streams on a Friday and Saturday at 2 PM Pacific Time in the US, 7 AM in Australia or 10 PM in the UK. Smurfberry Barbecue, good to see you. I hope you're well. And Sniper Recco, good evening to you as well. And hello to everyone in chat or watching. Okay, so what are we doing? We are creating a cinematic in the Unreal Engine 4.19.2. We're finally at that stage where we're setting up our cameras for our final cinematic. It's been a very long journey, I know, but we're there. We're getting there. Yesterday we were setting up I think we set up another 3 cameras yesterday. We'll try for another 3 or 4 today. So what the plan of action is, again, just to explain what's going on, I'm going to set the cameras up on the Mondays and the Tuesday streams. The following and between now and when I come back on Monday next week, I'll render the cameras out we've set up so that we can review them on Monday morning's stream, and we'll do it that way. So every Monday morning stream will be a review of the cameras we've done in the previous week. And by review, I mean I'll render the images out, turn them into an MP4 file, video file of that shot, and we can watch them back. Simply because it gets a bit hard sometimes to get a good idea of what the camera shot's going to look like just in the editor. And it saves you guys watching me sitting here and twiddling my thumbs while the engine saves out the images. So that's what the plan is. I think that's the best way to go. So we spend our time setting cameras up, and then on Mondays we watch back the previous week's camera shots. What was this? That twiddle low. What's going on, Smithy? What? That Twitty dough. I'm not sure what that is. Again, am I being really silly? I don't get it. Anyway, guys, remember, if you've got any questions, you're being weird. I expect that of you, Smurfberry Barbecue. If you weren't being weird, I'd be worried. Remember, guys, if you have any questions or anything you're not sure about, please feel free to pop it into chat and ask me. If you just want to pop in and say hello, though, that's always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, that's completely fine. Because there are many times I watch people streaming on Twitch and I don't want to talk to no one. I just want to watch. So that's all cool. Alrighty, so we set up our cameras yesterday. We're going to continue setting up some more cameras today. We are probably about halfway down the garden path now. Now, I have chosen my music, and the music consists of 3 different songs that are each about 1.5 minutes long. So I know I need about 1.5 minutes footage of the garden path to fit the music track. So we're setting up our cameras in 10-second shots, which is long for a shot, but I'd rather have more to play with than less, which means at the minimum we need... Sniper says 10 points to you, Smurfberry, for breaking inside 1 minute of the stream start. That's right. You broke my brain, Smurfberry. You broke my brain. So that means we need 6, 7, 8. We need at least 9 camera shots for the garden path. That won't be a problem because we're already at 8. So, and we're only about halfway down the garden path. Points to Gryffindor, that's right. Smurfberry. Again, I'm going to set up probably more cameras than I need, and that means we can choose just the best shots for the final cinematic, or we can even shorten some of the shots and put more in. We'll see how we go. So if you see me setting up lots of cameras, probably more than we're going to need, it's for that reason, that I want to have a buffer when we make our cinematic. It's better to have more than less because you can't stretch it out, not easily anyway. So having a few more camera shots than you intend to use is always a good way to go. All right, so yes, continuing to set up some shots. I've opened up a clean shot folder here in my sequencer. Now we've got shots where we pan across the garden path, where we pan down trees and things. We don't have any shots where we pan parallel to the garden path. So I'm going to set up a shot here to do that. So let's start by, let me move my camera up a little bit. Let's add a cinematic camera. Actually, for this shot, I'm going to do a camera rail rig. So I'm going to drag one of those in to begin with. We're going to rotate it around so it's sort of parallel to the garden path being over here. I'm going to drag in my cinematic camera now. Oops, and I put it in the wrong spot. You drag your camera into the viewport, not into the browser. See, you've already, you have broken my brain, Smurfree. Broken it completely. Okay, let's drag our camera in, and we're going to pair that to the camera rail. And I'm also just going to zero out the position. There we go. Okay, let's add those to our sequencer. Add track, add to sequencer, add currently selected actors. There we go. I'm going to select the camera actor. Again, I'm going to change the focal height from 20.25 to 18. And we're going to make sure we're in our cinematic viewport, and I'm just going to turn that camera on. Alrighty, we're not seeing much at the moment, so let's move our rig and our rail up a little bit. And again, I'm trying to work out what's going on with my camera here. My camera's pointed, I think, in the wrong direction. No, it's pointed in the right direction. I am going to move it up a little bit, because what we're seeing here is we're seeing the rail inside of the camera focal viewpoint, so I'm just going to pull it up above the rail. Now we can position ourselves, I think. Now we'll choose the rail and we'll move it up. Again, I'm looking in my cinematic viewport while I move it in my perspective viewport. Let's move it down. Okay. I sort of have an idea of what I want to do with this shot. I want to, again, we're panning parallel to the garden path. I want to start with a conifer tree, a pine tree, and end on a conifer tree, a pine tree. You don't have to, but it just, I think it would make for an interesting shot. But I do want to see a bit of the garden path because it's being a bit hidden here, so we may move our camera up a little bit. Maybe move it back a little bit so I can see that garden path. It's getting just a little bit hard for me to see what's going on because this is a very dark part of the wood. So I'm going to just go into unlit mode here for a minute. That just allows me to see where my path is a bit more easily. Okay, so I'm going to rotate my rail around just a little. There's that garden path there. I can see it through the trees there. I want my rail to run parallel to that. So we'll rotate it around just a little bit more. want to get an idea of how high that camera is. Okay. See if we move it up a little bit more. Maybe move it back a little bit more. Because I know I want to finish on like this tree over here for the end of the shot, so I know I need to move it back about in line with that tree. Let's move it over just a touch more. Okay, let's extend our rail. So again, I'm just going to select that little white dot, hold down the Alt key and drag. Get into a position here where I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Let's hold the Alt key down and drag it again. Maybe one more. Okay, so that's fine, except it's cutting right through the middle of a tree here, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to pull it forward. So put a bit of a curve on the rail. Maybe pull this one forward just a little bit more. I'm going to move my camera up a little bit as well. Maybe angle it down just a little bit. Again, I'm always looking in my cinematic viewport when I make these adjustments. I'm just using the perspective to do the rotation and placement. Okay, let's go back to lit mode. How do I want to tackle this? I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look in my perspective and move my camera along the rail to see what it's capturing and if we need to make any adjustments. So let's just move our camera along our rail here. And I want to end with this conifer on the end sort of going to black. It'll make a really nice transition shot if we go into black and then cut to a new camera in the cinematic. It just makes it a bit more interesting than doing a straight cut from, say, here. If we sort of move into a black part of the image and then do a cut. You don't have to, but I just think it makes it look a bit more interesting. I don't really like the way these bushes in the foreground are coming through the camera. Or cutting into the camera focal point. I think that looks a bit weird. So what I might do is I might move the camera up a little bit. I think. Just a little bit. Okay, let's scrub through our timeline again. Again, we're getting these bushes here cutting through the camera focal point. I really don't like that. So that's fine. Let's move the entire rail rig up. I could either move the camera up, but it's just as easy for me to move the entire rig up. We can sort of just see our path through here. Again, let's cut through our camera. That's good. We're not getting any of those bushes intersecting the focal point of the camera, which is what I want. I don't want to see those bushes. Looks like our camera rail goes a little bit past that tree. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is I might move my rail down a little bit. So we might start the shot. Let's see what it looks like if we start it from here. It's better, that's the end of the rail rig there. I'm just trying to work out whether I want to rotate my camera up at all. In fact, we might move the rail down just a little bit more. That's not too bad. Now we're going to decide how we want to set this up. Do we want to hold on a frame, or do we want to have a continuous animation from start to finish on this camera? I know I want a continuous shot along here. I don't want to have any stops. I'm going to cut the camera like about here, and then we'll cut into a new one inside of Premiere. I think for this shot, I'm not going to hold on a frame. Like, I'm not going to hold for 2 seconds before I move the camera. I'm going to move the camera from start to finish. So it's one continuous movement. So what I need to do is, we're at 0 frames. So we've got to add a keyframe here. Let's move down to the end of the animation, which is 10 seconds. And move the camera rail all the way along to the end. And set a keyframe. Let's just play that back on a loop here in the cinematic viewport. So we've just got a nice slow panning shot along the path, parallel to the path. And then here we'll cut to a new camera in Premiere when it goes into the dark of the tree. We can see some of our nice God rays just in the background. Yep, that's fine. That's good. Okay. Well, that's another camera shot done, so that was pretty quick. Let's add a new camera. And this is going to be shot 10. Let's just do a quick save here before we forget. I always like to do a save all after I've created a camera. And let's open up shot 10, which should be blank. It is. Good. Okay, let's work out what we're going to be doing with this one now. No, I don't want to move it. You see, you're still breaking my brain, Smurfberry. I want to move my perspective, not on my cinematic viewport. Wow, why are you so dark? Is it because we're in the forest? What's going on here? Where am I? I'm lost. I'm lost in the forest. Let me turn unlit back on so I can get my bearings. Where am I? Okay, there's the gate. Fine, okay. Alrighty. That's all good. We can turn the lit back on again. Okay. So far we've done a lot of shots with, like I said, moving across the garden path, moving down trees. Now we've got a shot inside the forest looking back at the garden path, but we don't actually have a shot moving down the garden path, so I think we should do one of those. For that, I'm going to use another rail rig, and I think we'll start the shot. When we move, one of the shots is us when we move through the garden gate. So we sort of like pass through the gate, and then our camera turns to look this way. We might pick it up from there, so we might move forward just a little bit more to maybe around about here. The reason we're not seeing the fog in the perspective, oh no, it's okay. Well, there we go. The fog sort of only shows up when you get to when you turn away from the sun, which is sort of over here. So if I turn toward the sun, we lose our God rays, our fog. It sort of shows up there. So I want to try and keep my camera facing that direction as opposed to that direction. But the first thing we need to do again is we need to add a camera rail. Again, let's rotate it to follow the path, so around this way. And let's extend our rail so we have a bit more to play with. Pull one out there. Starting to look like an amusement ride with all of these rails hanging in the air. Let's pull another one out here and move it over a little bit so it starts to follow our path a bit more. Let's pull another one out. And maybe one more. I'm not going to take the rail all the way up to the end here because I want to use a camera crane for the steps at the end. But let's drag one more out. Maybe move it over a bit so we're back toward the middle of our path. That should be good. Okay, let's add a cinematic camera. Move it up a bit. And let's attach it to that camera rail. Select them both and add them to our camera shot. Now, the camera though, we want to point along the rail. So I'm going to rotate that around. No, do as you're told. Trying to keep the camera pointed more toward that side than this side, or that side than this side. Again, let's make sure our focal height is at 18. And let's make sure we're in this viewport and turn our camera on. We're just going to ignore that rail we see there. None of these rails will show up in the final cinematic anyway. But I think we need to move our rail up. It's sitting a bit too low on the ground. So I'm going to move it up. I've got to decide how high I want this to be. Do I want it to be like head height, a person walking through, so around here? Or do I want it to be more dramatic and lower like it is at the moment? I'm just moving in my perspective viewport here to check, to look between the two different height values to see which one I think I like better. We see more of the path with a higher camera. That's not always a good thing. Having part of the path sort of obscured here by some bushes and stuff, I think makes for a more interesting looking shot. We can always move it up if we don't like it anyway. Let's just move it up a tiny bit more, maybe. Maybe they're like that. I do want to rotate my camera up a little bit more though. I'm having trouble selecting it because of the fog particles, so just going to get in a bit closer. There we go. Again, I'm looking in the cinematic viewport while I do my rotation here in perspective. And I want to see more of the, less of the path and more of the God rays at the top of the screen. Maybe something like that. Let's do a test. Let's just run our rail down the, let's run our camera down the rail while we look in perspective here. What don't I like? What is going on that I don't like the look of? I think when we start to get to the curved part of the rail, I don't think I want it to be quite so curved, so I'm just going to make some adjustments here. Let's reduce the curve on the rail a bit. Okay, let's play through again. I'm just going to let this play through on a loop again. I want to get a better idea of what the camera movement looks like. Oh, it's not going to move because I haven't set keyframes. That would help. So let's just set a keyframe here with the rail at 0. And again, let's move through to 10 seconds and set another keyframe with the rail at 1. And now let's play through on a loop. Again, you're not showing me. Why are you not showing me? Sniper Echo says, posted a screenshot of a ship I'm working on from a few days ago. Just wondering if you have any advice on how to approach getting the curves along the sides of objects like that to look right. Even working on curves from drawing seems difficult. Let's check it out. Okay, so you're working on a ship. See, Crosswind has replied in Discord there. Let me just grab this, copy the link and have a look at it in the browser. It's just a bit easier for me. I will pull my browser window over. There we go. Okay, so this is a ship, yep. When you said a ship, I always think, because I'm used to Gale and working on ships, I think space. So this is a ship for the water. And your question is, Sniper, just wondering if you have any advice on how to approach getting the curves along the sides of objects like that to look right. Your curves look fine here in this image. Generally with anything but a curved surface, so I usually use splines or NURBS, if you want to call them NURBS. So a series of splines that you then turn into a mesh. That's how, anytime I work with anything that needs a nice smooth curve, I generally will work with a spline and mesh along a spline, if that's sort of what you mean. So yeah, this looks fine. I don't see a problem with your curve here, from what I can see. But yeah, anytime you work on, like, if you want a smooth curve, I generally find a spline or NURBS modeling is the best way to go, where you use splines and then you mesh between the splines. Yeah, that's sort of the standard way I would tackle a curve like that. You don't have to do it that way, but that would probably be the easiest way and the best way, I think. You guys know I use splines quite a bit when I do the splines are useful for everything. The main gate we've got here, all the decorative work on this main gate, that was all created using splines as well. I love my splines, love them, so useful. And I know in car modelling it's used a lot. They use splines all the time for curves. So that's what I would do. I'd use a spline or a series of splines that you mesh between. Yeah. So let's work out why my camera here isn't not animating. And it should be. Why are you not animate? It didn't record my my movement here. I don't know why. So I'm just going to add another keyframe again, and hopefully it will record it. Yeah, now it is recording it. Good. No worries. Yeah, again, yeah, and with a spline, like you say, it's easier to adjust it. So if you want to make some small tweaks to the actual curve shape, by using a spline and choosing the points along the spline, you can much more easily manipulate the shape of the object. Let's now try playing our camera on a loop here. I just want to check how the camera is looking in its movement. I'm trying to decide if I want to move the camera a little bit as we move along the track, or if I want to keep the camera pointed in one specific direction. The more we move the camera along, particularly as the camera is moving along a track, the more distracting it's going to be as a viewer watching. So small movements are okay, but you don't want to sort of swing your camera around wildly from 180 degrees while you're moving along a track, unless you're going for a specific look. That's fine. I might, when it gets to the curve here, I may move the angle of the camera a little bit, I think. Stop. Okay, so let's move back to the beginning here. We have our shot here, that's fine. We move along our track. That's fine. When we start to go along the curve here, I may just rotate my camera a little bit. because you see our camera is always pointed in that direction. And again, I want to try and keep the camera pointed in that direction because that catches the guide ray. But I just feel when we start to turn here that the camera could do with being rotated a bit. So before I can do that though, I need to make sure I set keyframes. So it's going to the transform of the camera. We're back at the beginning. Let's press the S key to set keyframes. Now let's move along our track. I think when the camera gets to about here, I might rotate it around just a little bit. I see Sniper's posting in Discord saying it's time to retake the word ship back from the stars. Yeah, because every time I hear anyone mention the word ship now, because I'm so used to Galen working on spaceships, I automatically think spaceship. Okay, let's set a keyframe here. Just going to scrub back through my timeline again. Okay, so we have our camera here. We move along. The camera's rotated just a little bit. We can. I just want to see what's going on here with this rail. It's quite a dramatic little turn there. It's all smooth. And I think when we get back to the end of the rail here, I'm going to rotate my camera back again. And set a keyframe. So again, I'm just going to play this back on a loop a couple of times to get an idea of what it's doing. Sniper says, the sad thing is when you said you were going to look at the ship, I thought Starship too. Same answer goes for spaceships, curves as well. Splines are good for that. Now, just trying to work out if it's me or if the camera is angled or not. Might just be me. Smurfer has broken my brain still. No, I think that's fine. I'm looking at the steps at the bottom. I had the feeling that the camera might have been angled like that a bit, but I don't think it is. I think it's straight. And I'm judging that on the steps. When we get up close here, the steps look parallel. So our camera moves along the rail. As we turn the rail, the camera swings a little bit. And then as we come back, the camera swings back. We could probably even rotate the camera up at the end there a bit. So we come along, we come along. We come along. Maybe when we get to here, I could sort of swing the camera up a little bit. Yeah, let's have a look at that. So our camera moves along the rail, along the rail, along the rail. And then when we get to about here, maybe about here. So maybe between here, I'm going to set some keys, and the end of the rail, so maybe around about here. I might rotate the camera up a little bit. I don't know, that to me looks like it's on an angle. Why is that? Just let me get in a bit closer on our camera here. Is my camera angled? Am I seeing things, or is that on an angle? Let's just have a look here. That's better. I think it was on a bit of an angle. I'm just going to set some keyframes here as well. Again, I just want to rotate my camera up a bit more. And it looks like it's still on an angle again, the wrong way now, so I'm just going to rotate it a little bit as well. Set some keyframes. All right. Wow. That's completely stopped my camera from moving. Why is that? Again, I think it's the rail. I think what it's deleted the rail movement, so I'm just going to move to the end of the track again. No, it's at 1. Oh, there we go. I don't know what the problem was initially, but there we go. So I'm just going to move through my timeline here. 10 more points awarded for breaking fill for more than 30 minutes. Yeah, you've broken me, Slippery. Completely broken me. We're moving along, we're moving along, we're moving along. Everything's looking nice and straight. And we're finishing on that little terrace there. I'm just going to play this back on a loop. It gives me a better idea. I don't have to worry about scrubbing manually. So we've got some nice God rays showing up. We take our camera to rail turn, we keep moving, we keep moving. We lose a bit of the God rays because I moved the camera that way. And then we finish up on the steps and our God rays start to come back a little bit. Sniper says, I think we have a legitimate point system for a bot game now. I can set points up actually. Part of I use Streamlabs chatbot. Part of that is I can award. You can earn points through it. I've just never really thought about setting it up. I know streamers use it to award people that watch the stream, like they get more points the more they watch the stream, that sort of stuff. And what they let them spend their points on, I don't know. I guess it's up to the streamer. I've never really looked into it that much. I think a lot of streamers use it so that viewers can, the more points they use their points to choose a song. Like if the streamer lets viewers pick a song that they want to hear, I think they use their points for that. I don't give you guys that option. I make you listen to what I want. That's not just because, you know, it's not because I don't want to set it up. It's simply because I'm worried. Not that you guys are all wonderful, but I'm worried I might get someone on the stream that might choose a song that's a bit distasteful, put it that way. And with copyright now, you've got to be so careful with allowing people to play stuff on the stream. Otherwise, Twitch will ban you. They'll ban you. No one wants to be banned by Twitch. Okay, I don't think that's too bad. Now we're going to decide how we want this camera shot to run. And I think I don't want this in one continuous shot. I want to... I think I want to hold here for maybe a second. No, or do I? Sniper says, we all know you're talking about legmog. That's right, that legmog. You can't trust that legmog. You know what legmog is like. You can't let him run wild on your stream. God knows what would happen. Smurfberry comes a close second, though, I have to say. Breaking my brain. I don't think anyone else will troll you. You guys can troll me if you want. That's all good. It's all good. We get to here, and then the camera slows down anyway for 2 seconds. So I think for this shot we might start, we won't do a whole shot, we'll just start with the camera moving along the rail for a good 6 or 7 seconds of the 10-second shot. Once it gets past 7 seconds, it starts to slow down a bit anyway as we get to the terrace. That should be fine. Yeah, again, I'm just going to play it through on a loop. I just want to check it again. There's something I'm just not liking about the start. I just want to check the rail here. Okay, I think it's this bit here, this little kink, little curve here at the end of the rail. I don't like. There we go. I just want to straighten it out a little bit more. Let's play that through. Just at the very beginning, there was this little kick in the camera as the camera started to move. Now it's a smoother movement. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's create another camera. Again, let's just do a save all. Gee, I'm going to have quite a few cameras to render out before Monday's stream next week. Because we did 3 yesterday. I've already done 2 today. I'll probably end up doing another couple before the stream's finished. Because I'm not even an hour in yet. Hang on, I just want to check what's going on in Discord. Is that Copon Bendito? I think you joined the Discord server. Thank you for joining Discord. Remember, guys and girls, everybody's free to join the Discord server. There's a gallery section there that you can show your work on. A good group of guys and girls, or everyone's very friendly, so join the Discord. Type exclamation Discord in Twitch chat, or click on that blue graphic below my stream in my panels that says join the Phil Does 3D Discord. Click here, click there. You can get an invite link that way. Again, let's create a new camera. So, there you go, Nightbot. Are you doing that, Sniper Echo, or is Nightbot doing that? It just seems weird when I mention it, it seems to happen. Oh, Sniper Echo did it. There you go. Thank you, Sniper. I'm thinking, is that robot listening to me? What's going on? But it was Sniper Echo. Let's create a new empty shot. And this one's going to be shot 11. Again, I'm going to do a lot more shots than I'm probably going to have a need for, because the cinematic is going to run for about, the actual cinematic part runs, the music that is, runs for 4 minutes and about 20 seconds. So I need enough camera shots to fill 4 minutes and 20 seconds. But again, I've broken up the music into 3 parts. Like there's 3 different music tracks. And only the first 1.5 minutes is for this garden path section. Then there's another 1.5 minutes for around the pond section, and about 1.5 minutes for inside the building. But I want more cameras on the garden path. More, I say. I'm just going to organize myself here, my browser a little bit better so I don't get lost. Close the particle system. I'm just going to move these cameras we've created into a subfolder called cameras. That way I don't get confused when I start adding more. So I just like to move them into this cameras folder. And that way when I place new cameras, I know that, that the one that I want is the only one that's going to be there. All right. No, not that one, this one. Let's go to the view. Let's go to this perspective viewport. Now, I think a shot, again, when I'm trying to work out what shots I want to use, I jump into the perspective viewport here on the right, and I just move my viewport around to get some angles that I like the look of, that I think would make an interesting camera shot. That's sort of how I work out how I want my camera shots to look, by just moving around in the viewport here until I come across an angle that I like the look of, and then we can work a camera shot out from that. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just moving around in the viewport to see if I can get an angle I like the look of. Okay, I think a shot along these lampposts could look interesting. And I want to keep the camera angle this way because I want to keep the guide rays in shot. So if I try and do a camera shot from this side, we lose a lot of the guide ray. And the guide rays look cool, so I want them in the shot. So I want to try and keep my camera angled this way. And I think an interesting shot here will be to follow the lamp post. So we did a shot yesterday where we started at the top and followed a tree trunk down before we moved across the path. In this shot, I think what I'll do is I'll just want to create a camera shot where we go directly up the lamp post, looking towards that first little terrace. So let's have a look here. Do I want to use a rig for this? Or a crane, I should say. Do I want to use a camera rig, crane rig? Probably not necessary. I'm only moving the camera directly up. So we could probably get away with just using a camera without a rig. So let's do that. Let's drag a cinematic camera into the viewport. Again, I'm just going to position my camera where I want it. It's going to be around here. And let's rotate it around a bit. Move it up because I think it's in the ground. And let's add that to our sequencer. Change our focal point to 18. Sniper says, Sniper being called Smurfberry and Nightbot all the time. I try not to. I try to be good. Unless Smurfberry breaks my brain like he did before. Again, I must make sure I'm in this viewport when I do this. There we go. I want to turn it off in this viewport. Find my camera. Move my camera up. Again, I want to turn off cinematic preview here. I don't want that. I'm just getting a bit lost as to what's going on. There we go. Couldn't work out why I couldn't find my camera. Okay. Back into this viewport. I do want to look at the camera through that one. Back into this viewport. Select my camera. Find my camera. Where is my camera? What are you doing to me, Unreal? There it is. Okay. Couldn't work out where my camera was and why on earth is it angled like that? Let's reset our camera here to the 0, 0, 0. No, let's undo that. That sets it to the 0 world coordinate. We don't want that. Let's reset our rotation though. There we go. Let's rotate it around so it's facing in the right direction. And we've got to move it beside that lamppost, so let's move it over and down. So down and over. Oops. I think that's the lamppost there. Down. Down, 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 down. I want to start at the base of the lamppost here. Maybe in a little bit. No, I said in. There we go. I'm going to rotate it around a little bit more. So we can see those nice God rays starting to appear. We might even rotate it up a little bit. Okay. Now, how close do I want to get to this lamppost? Maybe I'll move it back just a little. Maybe forward a bit more, a bit closer. Let's start here and let's see what we get. So the transform track. Let's set a keyframe by pressing the S key on the keyboard. Move to the end of the 10 seconds. And actually, before I do that, I want to decide if I want to do a hold. I think I might hold here for 2 seconds. So again, press S. And then we're going to go up to about 8 seconds. And for this, I want to move the camera up. So I'm going to grab my camera and we'll move it all the way up until these light fittings themselves sort of come into view. How high do I want to go? Yeah, not that high. Maybe we'll move the camera forward a little bit. Do I want to do that or not? Let's try rotating the camera around just a bit as well. So maybe angle it down a little bit more. So we sort of just see the steps down here. Let's set a keyframe there and let's pan through our animation and have a look. So again, I'm just going to set it on a loop here and watch it for a second or two. I'll see what our camera animation looks like. Now, it looked like the camera moved down before it moved up, and that's not great. So get it to loop. It does. See, the camera is moving down before it's moving up. So let's look at that. Moves down and then it moves up, which is weird. I think the easiest way to fix that's going to be for me to delete the keys here at the beginning. Now we have a stationary camera where we hold for 2 seconds and then it starts to follow the line of the lamppost. I have a feeling it's moving out too far though. Or is it? I just don't, I'm looking at the terrace here as I'm moving in the timeline. I don't like the way it sort of angles like that. It looks a bit weird. I mean, it's correct, but it just looks weird. The way the terrace sort of just starts to angle up like that. So I think what I'll do here is, yeah, we're sort of moving, our camera's moving out a bit too far as well, I think. So I'm going to come back to here. And I'm going to move my camera a little bit. Where is my camera? There it is. So I think here, I might just move the camera out a little bit. I really want to avoid getting those red leaves in shot though. Not that they look bad, they're just going to be distracting though for a camera shot because they're too close to the camera. Alright, so if we can't move it that way, we may have to move it from down this end. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think when we get to here, I may move the camera out a little bit. We can see the line of our camera there on screen with that that green line shows us how our camera is moving. So I think here I may move the camera in a little bit. Stop that. So again, let's set a key. Okay, thought that might happen. I've got two keys overlapping each other, so I'm going to delete these keys. Actually, I might I'm just going to undo that deletion. My phone is going off in the background. My apologies if you heard that on stream, guys and girls. Okay, I've got two sets of keys that are really close to each other. That's the problem, I think. If we sort of zoom in here, I should be able to find the ones I want to remove. There we go. This set of keys here I want to remove, but I like the look of that better than this one. I like the fact that half of the lamppost is sort of off screen, whereas here it's sort of, I don't want to really see anything on this side of the lamppost, which is why I like the look of that better. But the problem with it here is as the camera moves up, it moves over a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to delete this set here. And again, I'm just going to play through in the timeline. See, what I don't like here is as the camera moves up, the camera moves in a bit, so the lamppost looks like it's moving forward. The only way to fix that is for me to either move the camera at the top, back, but if I do that, then we start to get those red leaves showing up in the corner, which I don't want. Or to move the camera at the bottom, over, but then we're going to start to see on the other side of the lamppost, so it's a difficult one. And I don't like the way that the terrace is tipping like that as the camera moves up. I want to try and hide that, so I think here, I think the best thing is not to worry about the, well, let me just stretch out my timeline again. Come on. There we go. Not to worry about the lamppost moving in a little bit. And to make it less noticeable, maybe when we get to here, I might rotate the camera out a little bit. Again, I've got to find my camera. And there it is. Maybe I should have picked a lamppost that wasn't quite so close to a tree. Let's rotate our camera a little bit, I think. We're going to get that tree leaf in the corner anyway. Seems no matter what way I go. Yeah, really, I don't like that at all. Let's see if we can move our camera a little bit. Yeah, maybe like that. I really have to make sure those trees don't get into shot. It looks like I may have set keyframes on top of each other again. I'll check that in 2 seconds. And I'm just going to undo adding those keyframes, make sure I'm on top of my other keyframes. And now we'll add keyframes. Good. Okay, let's scrub through our timeline here. Yeah, okay, I don't like around the middle, so maybe about here. We might rotate the camera around a little bit. Set a keyframe, scrub through our timeline. Really don't like the look of that. Something's going on I really don't like. Come back here, zoom in again. I'm going to rotate my camera around a bit more. Again, we get those leaves popping in, which I really don't want. My camera keeps wanting to jump back here, so I might just delete the rotation frame. Just curious as to why, never mind. My chat client connects to my second computer that has Discord, and for some reason it just told me that the chat client disconnected from the Discord. I don't know why. from OBS. I mean, disconnected from OBS, but I'm still streaming, so it's all good. I might just delete this rotation key, I think. This tree is becoming really annoying. Let's see if we can move our camera in a little bit. Okay. Let's set a keyframe. Cookie, good to see you, Cookie. How are you? I hope you're well. Cookie says, did my greeting break chat? Yeah, I don't know. See, like I said, I use Streamlabs chatbot for my chat client, and it connects to OBS via WebSocket. And I just noticed I noticed on my computer, OBS is actually dropping frames. I can see. Not again, Twitch. What are you doing to me, Twitch? Yesterday's stream was wonderful. Today, OBS is having a problem by the look of it. It's only dropped 0.1% of frames, but let's keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it. Yes, you broke OBS and chat, Cookie. It's all your fault. Yeah, that's right. You said hello, and you broke everything, Cookie. Again, Twitch have been doing a lot of work on the back end of Twitch to introduce new features and all that sort of stuff. And every time that they do that, it always ends up causing problems. Oh, well, not every time, that's an exaggeration. But a lot of times when they start fiddling around with the Twitch servers to add new stuff or fix stuff, I don't know, it starts to cause problems for streamers. And yesterday's stream was perfect. I looked at the stream breakdown after the stream on Twitch, and there were no problems. Steady frame rate, steady kilobytes a second upload. But I did notice before that it seems to be fine now. We're back in the green. It's staying in the green, but I know Twitch are having problems because they posted on their support page this morning that people on Xboxes and PlayStations were having problems streaming. So that means Twitch are going to be fiddling around with the back end of their servers again. And that means that some streams, that the Twitch streams are going to be a bit hit and miss, I think, until they get that sorted out. Cookie says, I've been fighting my ISP to fix my internet. Isn't that always fun, Cookie? Fighting with your ISP to get something done, to get anything done. No luck yet, Cookie says, I don't think. Yeah, I know. You guys know that I'm waiting for the NBN, which is the National Broadband Network in this country, they're rolling that out across the country. It's a government-led thing for fibre to the home. And I was due to have it connected in October of 2017, so October last year. That was when I was supposed to be getting it connected. Now, they put a hold on for 6 months saying, oh, we're having problems because people were complaining that their speeds were really rubbish. So instead of getting 100 megabytes a second, people were getting like 1 megabyte a second download. So they put everything on hold for 6 months, and then they were supposed to resume again, a few months ago. And they did. But now they tell me that I'm not going to get connected until between January and March of next year, of 2019. So I went from, yes, we're ready to connect you, you're going to get it in October, to you're going to have to wait a year and a half until between January and March of next year now to get it. So I'm not happy about that. And that's happened not just to me, to a lot of people. So I hate ISPs, and I hate ISPs. The project's going good. Anyway, are you talking to me, or if you're asking me, Cookie? Yes, we're going well. We're up to shot 11 now. So, did you see the? Now my OBS has told me my WebSockets connected again. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? Yeah, but OBS is fine. It's in the green. Yeah, you. It's going well. Did you see the shots we'd already rendered out? We did 5 shots last week of the main gate, and we rendered those shots out. And I might as well play it because why not? It's my stream, and I want to show people. We did render those out. So I'll play them for you, Cookie, and for anyone else that maybe didn't see them, that wants to see the first 5 shots we've got done. We created 3 new shots yesterday, and we've done about 3 new shots so far today. So these are the opening shots, which is outside of the gate before we actually get inside. You may have seen these because I think I was complaining, I was warning you how bad my animation, my bird here was. But I'm going to fix that by cutting to a close-up camera of our birdie. And that'll sort of hide some of my bad animation work before we cut back to the wide shot. So that's the plan for the bird, to hide the bad animation on the bird. And then we get to just a wider shot of the gate. You remember this part? Okay. Yeah, so then we just move into the gate. And like I said, I created 3 new cameras yesterday. I've created 3 so far today. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to render them out on stream, simply because it's boring for you guys to watch. So I'm going to spend the streams setting our cameras up. And between today's stream and when I come back on Monday next week, I will render out the images and put it into an MP4 shot like you're seeing now. So we work on cameras during streams, and then on Monday's stream is when we do a review of the cameras where we can see what they look like rendered out. Yeah, it's Cookie saying a bit of tweaking, it would be quite good. I think all amount getting a fluid motion, yeah. It'll be good enough for what we need, I think, particularly when I do that cut. So I'm not going to show the bird flying in, landing and taking off. I'm going to show the bird flying in, then we're going to cut to the close-up of the bird landing and taking off, and then I'm going to cut back to the bird flying over the fence. So I'll sort of hide it that way as well. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So yes, we work on cameras, and on Monday next week I'll show you the cameras we worked on yesterday and today, rendered out like you see here. Thank you, Cookie. I'm glad you like the animation of the scene. Looks fantastic. Loving all the atmospherics. Yeah, I like the God rays. I'm trying to get as much of these God rays in shot as I can in our cameras, because I think they look cool, and they help to add a lot of atmosphere, like you said, to the scene. So now we've moved through the gate. Our cameras are working our way down the path, and that's what we're doing now. So I'm trying to work out how I want to set this shot up here with this lamppost is proving to be quite difficult. Much more difficult than I thought than it should be. So I'm just going to zoom back out again. And we'll play back our timeline so I can see what's going on. So our camera starts at the base of the lamppost. We move up, it holds for 2 seconds at the base. We move up. As we move up, we sort of pan our camera around. I just wanted another shot that was a bit more different from just along the path. I wanted something to break that up, to make it a bit more interesting. I'm just going to play this back on a loop here, and we'll view it in our cinematic viewport. So we hold for 2 seconds, the camera moves for about 6 seconds, and then we hold for 2 seconds. Again, I want to keep the camera angled this way to pick up on the God rays. So we hold, the camera starts to move up along the lamp post and starts to move out, swings out, and then we hold on the top of the lamp post. It may be better if I move the camera up a little bit more towards the end of that animation, I think. something about this shot I don't really like. Here, I think it might be more interesting if we see more of the lampshade itself. So let's zoom in again. Move back. And maybe move our camera up a little bit more here. Rotation, location. Move you up. I don't want any of these red leaves in shot though, that's the problem. They're becoming a real annoyance. They're too close to the camera, they're not going to render out and look nice, so I don't want them in shot. I think that's the reason I might have kept the camera down here. Although I think it does look better up here. I guess we can move the camera in a bit so we can get away from those leaves as much as possible. Let's try that. So I can either go back or I could go in. Let's try in. That's not too bad. I just want to avoid them getting too close to the camera, but the red leaves there might not be too bad. I don't like that though. Something about that I don't like. Let's try moving it down again. Because I like the look of this, of seeing this ironwork here. More than I like the look of the top of the light fitting. Oh, I don't know. Let's set a keyframe and let's have a look. I mean, I'm complaining about it, but I like doing the camera stuff. It's a fun thing to be doing. So we hold for 2 seconds on the base of the lamppost, and then when we start to move the camera's rotating up and moving up. What's going on there? Let me play it back in the viewport. I think the camera might be jumping somewhere. Just let me stop this for a minute. This is getting really distracting, moving all the time here. I'm just going to turn real time off. Okay, let's play it back. Yeah, I don't like the way the camera is rotating here. Stop. See, our camera sort of points this way until it gets about halfway up the lamppost and then it starts to swing around. I don't like that. I think I may rotate the camera when it's at the base a bit more. So maybe when the camera is here, even though I do like that, the look of looking at the terrace there, I do like that actually. Maybe when it gets to maybe around about here, we'll rotate it around. Let's set a keyframe there and let's have a look. So we start and hold here for 2 seconds on the base of the lamppost. There's I'm going to delete these frames here. I'm going to move these ones over. Let's have a look at that. Let's play it back on a loop. So we're holding, the camera starts to turn. As it turns, it moves up along the lamppost. We do lose the lamppost though, until we get to the top. So that's not great. So that's fine. I may just move the camera over a little bit here, just so that the lamppost sort of comes back into view a little bit. Oh, come on, what are you doing? Just let me delete that location key. No, we better not do that. I'm just going to delete these keys here. I want to redo this. Alright, let's rotate our camera here. I want to rotate it out that way. I want to move it back a little bit. Okay, let's set a keyframe there. So we start here, we hold for 2 seconds. The camera starts to move up along the lamppost and starts to rotate out away from the terrace. And then we move up to the top of the lamppost. We finish on the top of the lamppost where we hold for 2 seconds. Let's play that through. I could actually angle the camera up toward the end there. So we hold for 2 seconds, we follow the lamppost up, we get to the top of the lamppost here, where we hold for 2 seconds. Just going to do a save all here, and let's look at what happens here at the end of the camera shot. We move up, 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 and then we hold. I'm just wondering if angling the camera up when it gets to this part of the lamppost might be more interesting. No, I don't think it is more interesting actually. You see, I could play with it there, but because I didn't add keyframes, it just jumps back to the way it was. So I think it actually looks more interesting this way, where we can see some of the background here, as opposed to more of the sky. Let me play it through again. I've got to watch this a couple of times to see if I like it or not. It's okay, and like I said, if we don't, I'm creating more shots than I'm going to use. So, if I decide later on when we're putting it together in Premiere I don't like it, then we just won't use it. We'll see how we go. Let's create another camera. Yes, let's do that. Let's do a save all. Yeah, no, OBS is fine. I don't know what the brief interruption there was, but everything looks good now. Let's go back and create a new camera. And this is going to be shot 12. Let's open that one up. And for this one, I'm thinking I want to create a camera rig crane. So let's drag a camera rig crane in. Before I do that though, I do want to just move my camera here from the previous shot into the cameras folder. That way I don't get all confused between all my different cameras. And let's add a crane rig. A huge crane rig. Maybe not. Maybe it was just floating in the air. That's why it looked huge. Let's rotate it around. Let's add a cinematic camera that we're going to attach to our rig. Let's rotate it around so it's facing the same direction as the rig. Pop it just underneath of the arm of the rig, move it forward. You need to move it down so it's inside the camera rig rail. Move it forward a little bit more. Okay, let's attach that to the camera rig rail. Let's add them both to a new shot here. Make sure my camera is actually 18mm and not 20.25 like it defaults to. And turn my camera on. Okay. Select my rig here. Just it keeps selecting the particles, and I don't want the particles, I want the rig, so maybe I'll do it here. There we go. Let's move our rig a little bit here. Too far. I don't mind having these in the foreground, and it helps to add a bit of depth, I think, showing this plant in the foreground. But I do want to maybe move the rig up a bit. No, I don't want to do that. I do want to do that, but just not immediately. So a 10-second shot. We might hold for 1 second. But I might just rotate the camera up a little bit, I think. It's probably better for me to move the rig up, but I want the rig to stay quite close to the ground, so I'm going to rotate the camera instead. Just going to make sure I'm back at 0 here. That's a bit better. I want to see a bit more of the background here and a bit less of the path. So that's good. Select the rig. We're going to press the S key. Are we going to do that? Are we doing that? No, we're going to set the pitch here. So add a key for pitch at 0. We're going to hold for 1 second. Add another pitch key. Then we're going to move up to, let's go to 6 seconds. Let's go around the 6 second mark. Now we're going to move the pitch of the crane up. It's pulling back as it's doing this. Let me get my bearings here. We're going to pull it up. Let's add a pitch key there. We've got that problem where it moves down and before it moves up again. Now that just means we need to remove this key here. So we hold for a second, it starts to move up. As it moves up, it pulls out a little bit. And then we hold for 4 seconds, but we're probably going to cut it back for 4 seconds. What I might do actually is I might slide this key along a little bit. So instead of holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of holding for 5, instead of pulling back during 5 seconds, we might pull back during 6 seconds or even 7 seconds, and then we can hold for 2 seconds. So it's a really slow lift on the crane and pull back. Let's just play that through on a loop. Just trying to work out whether I want to angle the camera down when it gets to the top of that curve or not. No, probably not. It should be okay. We're getting some nice God rays coming through, so that's good. Okay, that's fine. Let's do another camera shot. Again, I'm just going to save all. Let's create a new shot. This is going to be shot 13. Again, we're going to start, I'm going to pull these two into my cameras folder so I don't get confused as to what I'm working with. There we go. I'm going to start with another camera crane. Again, let's rotate it around so we're working, so it's facing the right direction. There we are. I don't want the particles. There. Let's add a cinematic camera. So let's attach it to the crane. And then let's attach our crane, let's add our crane and camera to our new shot track. Select this viewport and turn our camera on. There we go. Let's move our crane back a little bit. Maybe move it over just a little bit. Just moving it up just a touch. Again, we're going to start with half the camera obscured by this bush, this Azalea bush, so we just see part of the steps. So let's add a keyframe for the pitch and for the yaw there. We're going to do a 2-second hold, so pitch and yaw again. During the 7 seconds here, we're going to move up. And we're going to move in. So just before I do that, let me go back to here. I need to set a keyframe for the arm length as well because I'm going to be changing it. I forgot about that. So I'm just going to zoom in so I make sure I'm on the right keyframe area. Good. I'm going to set one for the arm length as well. Paz, good to see you, Paz. Oh, Paz. Paz says it's not only a bush, it's a toilet too. I'm good. How's things with you, Paz? Good to see you. We're getting our work done. We're getting our cameras set up. Slowly but surely. Now I'm going to move to about 7 seconds. I'm going to move the pitch up, but I'm going to increase the oh, come on, don't do that. I'm going to increase the length of the arm as well, so it's strange. What's it doing there? Just trying to work out why when I increase my arm length, it's increasing my height. Maybe if we look at the rig here, we'll get an idea of what it's doing. Okay, so it's doing that because it's facing up too high. Let me there we go, that's a bit better.
I never was one for forgiveness. I always try to pull my weight. They say the other side is greener. I'm pretty sure I won't be late. I play my cards as I'm supposed to. Yet all I do is bluff and cheat. Better save my thoughts for later. Life is always bittersweet. I've traveled through this world 1,000,000 times before, and every path I cross I know what lies in store. And even though I know my heart is on repeat, life is always bittersweet.
I'm just playing with the yaw here to see if I can get it into a position I like to look up better. Let's add keyframes here. No, what did you do there? So we're starting with it being half obscure. I'm just going to remove the keyframes from the beginning here. It's making my camera wobble a bit. Okay, so our camera holds for 2 seconds here in our azalea bush. Then we move up. And then we hold. Just going to play it back in a loop and check that. So we hold. The crane starts to move up and move forward. And then we hold. It's okay. We might just do a little rotation on the camera when it gets to the top of the movement here. So my camera, transform. Just want to add keyframes here so that the camera doesn't, so the camera stays in that position for there. But by the time we get to around about here, we might rotate the camera a little bit. Where is my camera? Okay. Just a little bit so that we see a bit more of these trees over here. Let's add a keyframe there. That's right. Cookie says the unfortunate life of a bush and a toilet. I told you guys, that's where the toilets are. You go into the forest if you want to go to the bathroom. Again, I'm just going to play this back on a loop a couple of times. So we hold for 2 seconds. The camera starts to move up and move forward. And as it's moving forward, it's slowly rotating around. That should be good. Let's do a save all. And I think that might be it for today, guys. We've got quite a few cameras set up now that I can render out between now and when I come back on Monday next week. Then I'll show you the rendered out shots. Because yeah, we've got quite a few cameras I've got to work with now. So I'm going to be rendering out shot 6, shot 7, shot 8, shot 9. Do I not have a shot 9? Shot 6, shot 7, shot 8, shot 10, 11, 12 and 13. Did I just miss the number 9 for some reason? Anyway, so I'm going to be rendering out shots 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12 and 13. So 7 camera shots between now and Monday. So when we come back on Monday next week, we can play them through and see them animated. Almost done. Not quite. We're almost done with the path section, but after the path section, then we're going to set cameras up around the pond section and the building, outside of the building, and the deer, and then we're moving on to the inside of the building. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting our way down this garden path pretty quickly now. I do want to thank you guys and girls very much so for hanging out with me and for watching. I will be back on Monday next week at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States. Remember, if you're not sure, just look for that countdown in my panels below my stream. That'll give you an idea of when I'm going to be live again, but my schedule never changes. It's every Monday, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific US time. Do remember to join the Discord server if you're watching this back on a Friday or Saturday and you're new to my channel. Everyone's free to join the Discord server, so just type exclamation Discord in Twitch chat or click that blue graphic in my panels. And you can always follow me on Twitter at PhilDoes3D because I always post when I go live there too. So you guys and girls have a great weekend. I will be back on Monday next week and we'll pick up where we left off and we'll be reviewing the cameras that we created yesterday and today. You take care too, Cookie, and thanks for being here. Thanks all you guys and girls for watching and hanging out, and hopefully I'll see you guys and girls on Monday next week. Have a great weekend, guys.